Hi friends, how are you all doing? I hope you all are all doing well. I hope you all had a lovely week. So today is Tuesday and I'm making this video on the upcoming solar eclipse. Today is the 30th. So I'm making this video on the upcoming solar eclipse which will happen on the 4th of December. Okay. Now I'm not an astrologer, a professionally trained astrologer. I have some knowledge about astrology. I have gathered it, but I'm not a professional astrologer, so don't expect astrological analysis from me. I'm just speaking to you as a twin flame, as a starseed, and sharing some of my insights, which will be helpful for this community. Okay. All right. So this solar eclipse is will not be visible in India. Okay. I stay in India, so it will not be visible in India, and it will not be visible in many other countries. You can check online which countries it will be visible and which countries it won't be visible. But in those countries where it is visible, the effect will be 100%. And it is said that in those countries where it is not visible, like in India where I live, the effect will be 50%. Okay. Now I want to add something to this. Those people who are twin flames, or who are working with their chakras, and especially those women, those people, I mean, those people whose kundalini is activated, your unconscious mind opens up. Okay, your unconscious mind opens up. So that means the eclipse is going to have more effect on you. Okay, because there is nothing that is blocking. Because see, kundalini rises from the root chakra. So once kundalini rises, it kind of opens up your entire unconscious mind and your root chakra. There's a lot of activity going on there. The root chakra is like, and there's no stability also in your life because you are in this constant process of transformation. Okay, once kundalini awakens, you need to learn. It's like a storm, it's like a storm, and you just need to find like the eye of the storm and place yourself there. Okay, and be in this stable, calm place, and the only source of stability is you finally. Okay, because this is how the situation goes when kundalini awakens, because your life is constantly changing. After you release one pattern, something else comes up to release. Okay, so those people who are doing this inner work, whose unconscious mind has opened up, whose kundalini has awakened, who are working with their chakra systems, have gone deep in their psyche. For such people, this eclipse will affect whether you're living in a location where it is visible or whether you're living in a location where it is not visible. Okay, because finally you are on Earth. Okay, and this eclipse is affecting the planet Earth. Okay, so that said, I will go to my next point. So the next thing that I want to talk about the eclipse is, see, there are some astrologers who talk really negative things about the eclipse. Okay, and they will kind of really scare you. Okay, fine. Then there is another category of astrologers. Okay, they will just make you feel cautious. Okay, they will give you the right direction. They will just lay the facts before you. If it is something to worry about, they will say so. If it is not something to worry about, they will say so. And then there is a third category of astrologers who will completely deny the negative side of it. They don't want to talk about the negative side of it, and if they make a 30-minute video, maybe for 30 seconds they will talk something negative about it, which is the fact. But basically they want to cater to the mass demand, so they are being very practical like a businessman. And what they are doing is, they are, let me say, they're sweeping the fear underneath the bed, was sweeping the fear and the facts underneath the carpet. They're not being honest. Okay, so those are some patterns that they have to release. But everybody, mostly people are money minded these days. They are not soul minded. They don't care about status. And to me, being a starseed status means alignment with your soul. And like what's your enlightenment status? What's your delightment status? How much fallen you are in the darkness? That is the meaning of status. Okay. So coming back, but on the other hand, I also understand that people are trapped in this karmic matrix and they also have financial responsibilities, which is why they might cheat you and eat you up alive. So you have to be compassionate towards those monsters. You can't judge them, right? Because finally they are eating you up for their survival, right? Funny. Anyways, so uh, okay, so that said, the reality of the situation is that and a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse is a really scary thing, okay? And which will affect you more depends on which karma you're carrying more, okay? So if you're carrying more divine masculine karma or if you're carrying more divine feminine karma, depending on that, which energies are balanced, which energies are imbalanced, depending on that, the karma will affect you, okay? So if your divine feminine energies are pretty balanced, then the lunar eclipse won't affect you so much. Uh, if your divine masculine energies are pretty balanced, then again the solar eclipse won't affect you so much. Okay. However, one thing I cannot deny is that as long as you are not enlightened, even if you are like 20 20 units close to enlightenment, okay, if there is a solar eclipse or if there is a lunar eclipse, a lot of karmic downloads will happen. Like, uh, whatever karma is there inside your psyche, that all might get downloaded depending on how close you are. Okay, that your higher self decides how much karma gets downloaded based on how much capacity you have to clear. Okay, during one solar eclipse or during one lunar eclipse. So, what I'm trying to say here is I describe three categories. Okay, the first category puts too much fear into you, the last category completely denies the fear. Okay, so the real deal is, you know, this is a scary thing. Okay, that doesn't mean you have to like put fear in people and make money off of their fear and have them run to various astrologers. That is not a suitable strategy. Okay, but it is a fearful event, like for especially for women that are pregnant in India. We have certain rules that are followed, okay, like women remain indoors and they shut down the doors and windows because they don't it is said like you shouldn't allow the sunlight of the sun's light to reach the child inside your stomach, okay. So these are the rules that are followed. Many other rules are also followed, like you should not use any sharp objects, you should not have any food okay, during that time. Even if you happen to have any food, and also the food that you have cooked maybe in the morning, you should put tulsi leaves in it. Okay, and that is a way of like protecting the food from the negative environment. Because what happens is when Surya Grahan happens, basically these are karmic downloads. So a lot of negativity is released in the atmosphere. And the first stage is where negativity is released in the atmosphere, and the second stage is where the pathogens increase. Okay, so the pathogens simply don't increase in the atmosphere, the negative energies are released. That's how they increase. Okay, so from a metaphysical point of view, this would be like because of the heavy karmic downloads that are happening from your souls, which is actually a cleansing process, you are being thrown into the lower timelines. Okay, you are shifting to the lower parallel realities. You're shifting to the lower timelines where your masculine energy gets imbalanced or your feminine energy gets imbalanced. Okay, so that is actually what is happening. Another point that I would like to mention here is those people, okay, those people who have who have like a eclipse in their chart, eclipse in their natal chart. Like if you have the sun eclipsed or the moon eclipsed or both eclipsed, or the Rahu Ketu coming on your sun and moon. If you have that, then you need to be extra careful, because that means your mind will be heavily affected. Okay, your mind will be heavily affected, because if you notice the solar eclipse, it is taking place in the nakshatra of Jyeshtha in Scorpio sign. Okay, now Jyeshtha nakshatra is on the borderline of the Gandanta zone. Okay, the Scorpio, what's the sign that comes before? Sagittarius. Okay, so the Scorpio Sagittarius Gandanta zone, the fire sign and the water sign, or the water sign and the fire sign. So Jyeshtha nakshatra is in the Scorpio sign, at the beginning of the Scorpio sign. So the solar eclipse is happening at the start of the Jyeshtha nakshatra, like the border sign. So this is the Gandanta zone. It is not exactly the Gandanta zone, but because Gandanta zone is 5 degrees on either side. Okay, so 5 degrees of Scorpio and last 5 degrees of Sagittarius. That is Gandanta zone. Still, this Gandanta zone will be triggered. So those people who have any planets in Gandanta, that means more karma will be downloaded, because the very fact of any planet that is placed in Gandanta means that planet is having heavy karma. Okay, that planet is having a lot of karma over there, and also a lot of things that you need to do practically into this world. So your purpose is directly connected to the Gandanta planets. Okay, so in astrology we say that Rahu denotes your soul purpose. Rahu denotes your soul purpose, but the planets that are in Gandanta, they are deeply connected with that soul purpose. So soul purpose is calculated by seeing different things, not just one planet, not just one placement. And basically, any astrological reading is a calculation of several factors. Okay, so several factors put together, calculated plus minus, and using a lot of intuition from the astrologer as well, not just calculation. You are supposed to give the predictions. Okay, so that is astrology. So, yeah, so what I was saying, to come back to my point, is if you notice this solar eclipse happening in the Jyeshtha nakshatra near the Gandanta zone, and there are many other planets also conjunct with it, which makes it all the more intense. So there is Sun in Scorpio, there is Moon in Scorpio, there is Mercury in Scorpio, Mars is about to enter Scorpio. Okay, and of course, Ketu is in Scorpio, conjunct Sun, conjunct Mercury, conjunct Moon. All right, and Jupiter is having an aspect on this. I think so, most probably. Okay, so that's a positive sign. But other than that, these are all negative signs. Okay, so many planets conjunct in Scorpio, and there the solar eclipse is happening. So this could be a little bit tough for those people that are in authority positions. Okay, some karma could be playing out. So the best solution in such a situation is before the eclipse starts. 1 week before the eclipse and 1 week after the eclipse, we have to be very, very careful. Okay, and I can even go to the extent of saying 1 month after the eclipse, the energies are intense. Energies are intense, meaning I'm telling you based on my experiences, not just knowledge, not just downloads, but based on my experiences. Certain situations happen like 1 week before the eclipse or 2 weeks before the eclipse. Okay, and certain situations happen 1 month after the eclipse. Okay, and these are negative situations, and it seems like from where did this come? Okay, so from where did the situation manifest, or from where did this person manifest, or how did I take this decision? Okay, so things like that, things that are kind of feel inevitable, things that kind of feel out of your control. Okay, those are the main words, okay, that define the situation, because this is prarabdha karma. This is prarabdha karma. Okay, So eclipse is like a portal which releases your Sanchit karma, and from Sanchit it becomes Prarabdha. Okay, eclipse is like the gateway to hell. I don't know, maybe I'm using a very intense term, but in my experience, like it has been like that because, as you know, twin flames carry heavy karma, star seeds carry heavy karma. So for me, it has always been like a gateway to hell, and I have always dreaded the eclipses. But I will tell you a solution also at the end of this video. Yeah, so let me talk about how the karmic downloads happen. Okay, so what happens is, see, Rahu, Ketu are just nodes of the moon. Okay, so when the eclipse happens and Rahu comes over or Ketu comes over, this is a Ketu eclipse by the way. Yeah, I think so, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, Rahu eclipse is different in its nature. Ketu eclipse is different in its nature. Ketu eclipses are more connected to ending something, like like some chapter of your life is ending, or you're releasing something, a relationship or a situation. Rahu eclipses are more about, deeds, doing something, that forward moving energy, that expansive energy. It's about pursuing something, whereas Ketu is about letting go. Okay, so that is the difference between Rahu eclipse and Ketu eclipse. So, what really happens, the mechanism here is Rahu and Ketu, okay, they are actually the unconscious mind, okay, and Ketu denotes the root chakra and Rahu denotes the crown chakra, okay, and the union of Rahu Ketu creates the Kundalini awakening, okay, and when Kundalini reaches from the root chakra and Kundalini reaches the crown chakra, it is the meeting of Ketu and Rahu, or the meeting of Rahu and Ketu. Okay, so it aligns all the chakra systems, and Shakti unites with Shiva. This is also where the twin flame reunion happens, and without this process, twin flames cannot reunite. At least the starseed twin flames cannot reunite. Okay, like those, like the ascended beings who have come here, they can't reunite. For them, Kundalini awakening is a must, and the other twin flames, for them, Kundalini awakening is not a must. It happens, but raising your Kundalini to the crown chakra, like it's not a must. What is a must is you have to clear most of the karma. Okay, so if you are at a place where, because we see a lot of twin flames that are in union and they have not brought their Kundalini up to the crown chakra, they have not done that. So, how they are in union? They are in union because they did not have much karma. Okay, they were just lucky, or they had cleared most of the karma. Okay, so they were like, at the last, maybe their last life or something like that. So they were at that point where they had like very little, very, very, very little karma to clear. And like they were like happily cleared that karma and they got reunited. Okay, so this is just like, a favorable situation. Okay, and then they start teaching, and then they say, no, 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 your reunion will happen very easy, very easy. But they don't know how much shit you have, no? They It depends on the karma. It depends. See, their process, everybody's process doesn't apply to everyone. Okay. Now, if a couple had less karma and they got into union, the people who should go to them are those who have less karma. Okay, because then their teaching will sync with them. Okay, their path will resonate with them. But if you are having like so much heavy karma, then there is no scope for reunion for you, no scope of reunion. Because even after you do all the work that they show, the inner work and all, and even if you become a saint, you'll have to suffer till you clear the last bit of your karmic account. Even saints had to suffer, no? Saints had to suffer. Saints had to suffer a lot. Because whether you're a saint or a sinner, you have to bloody clear that account. So the shortcut way is to awaken your Kundalini. That also is not that easy. Okay, you have to do a lot of inner work first to awaken your Kundalini. Otherwise, it doesn't awaken. Second, when it awakens is only through grace. Okay, and even when Kundalini awakens, don't think that all your karma is gone. Okay, if Kundalini clears 70% of the karma, 30% you have to suffer. Whoever the hell you might be, because there is something called prarabdha karma, and that is like fixed karma. Okay, so you have to suffer that. You have to suffer that. Okay, even if you have grace, even if you are working for the Galactic Federation, you have to suffer that. Okay, that is just the rule of this world. Okay, now how you handle that darkness, that is up to you. Okay, now if somebody receives a cut with a knife, okay, there could be one person who screams and yells and runs around the house. Okay, there could be another person who handles the situation with much more maturity, much more endurance. Okay, I've seen both the cases. Like, I know when I was in college, one of my classmates, we were in fine arts, like I'm a fine arts student. So, accidentally with the cutter, she was sharpening the pencil and she cut her finger. And then she was yelling, and the whole college came to see what was happening. Okay. And then a few years later, I was also in a similar situation where I was teaching, and there were kids there. And there was this lady again, she was using the cutter and she cut her finger, but she didn't make a single sound, And the other there were a few parents there. So one of the lady asked her that, is it not hurting you? Okay. Now obviously it was hurting her, but the what made this lady question her was, this lady had endurance. Okay, and it was really strange to watch the cut and to watch her not react so badly, because she was a woman, and obviously anyone would have screamed based on the cut that had happened. Okay, it was quite a deep cut, but she had endurance. So that is the difference. Okay, so how you take the karma, how you tolerate the karma. So these are the things that you need to know during the eclipse. Okay, these are the things that you need to know during the eclipse. So Rahu Ketu basically denote your unconscious mind, and when eclipse happens, the unconscious opens up. The unconscious opens up. So that is why the karmic downloads happen. That is how the karmic downloads happen. Okay, and when the unconscious mind opens up and the karmic downloads are heavy, you are not advised to go out into the world, because anytime anything can happen, because the gateway to the energies of the underworld, they say, in western metaphysics, the eighth house is called the underworld. Okay, and Rahu Ketu both denote the eighth house. Okay, they are denoting the unconscious mind. So the powers of the unconscious, or the powers of the darkness, are very strong during the solar eclipse. So that is the reason you are advised not to go out and not to eat food and whatever other traditional cultural precautions that people take. There is quite a scientific base behind it. Okay, and there is a metaphysical base behind it. It might not be scientific in terms of today's science, but there are metaphysical logical reasons for those behaviors. Okay, which our science sometimes cannot explain, because you can only understand it through a multi-dimensional point of view, not through a materialistic point of view. And our science is based on materialism, most of it, except quantum science. Okay, so these are the things that I wanted to speak about related to the eclipse. All right. So, and yes, before, let me not forget about it. The solution. So, what can we do for this eclipse to prevent the negative effects of the eclipse? Now, eclipse in Scorpio means it's going to be really, really intense. It is not like an eclipse in Libra sign, or an eclipse in Taurus sign, or an eclipse in Capricorn, or anything like that. This is a Scorpio eclipse, meaning the karma will come flooding inside. It's a water sign, it's your unconscious mind, and when the unconscious mind opens up, there could be not just one but many negative situations that could manifest in your life. Okay, so this is some heavy energy that is being released, but at the end of around 5 or 6 months, you will see some major changes in your life. Okay, because this account has been cleared, uh, all this karmic account has been cleared, at least a certain part of it. So yeah, so what you have to do to combat this negative energies is mantra chanting, and minimum, I would say minimum 1.5 hour. Okay, minimum is 1.5 hour, not even 1 hour, because it is said that to just go in this meditative state for an average person, it takes around 40 minutes. For those people who are expert in meditation and who have been meditating for many years, they can go into dhyan state, meditative state, very easily, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and they get into dhyan. Okay, because the system is refined that way, their chakras are cleared and balanced that way, so they go into dhyan very fast. But for normal people, it's said that it takes at least 40 minutes to go into dhyan, and the effect of the mantra chanting starts only after you get into the dhyan. That doesn't mean if you chant mantras for 15 minutes and if you don't go into dhyan, you will not receive any benefits. That is not true. Although the real benefits happen in the dhyan state, okay, that's where all the issues come up, and the real benefits happen there. Even if you get 15 minutes a day to chant mantras, you should chant, because there is an effect. Even in 10 minutes chanting, there is a positive effect, because I know the energy difference, how the energy shifts. Okay, see, the thing is, everybody has chakras and everybody has all these effects happening to them. But the difference is whether you can sense it or not. If your chakras are activated, then you can sense it. If your chakras are blocked, then you cannot sense energy. So you cannot sense the effect of the mantras. Same effect is happening on you, same effect is happening on the other person whose chakra is activated. But the difference is you can't see, you can't sense, you're not sensitive psychically, but the other person is. Okay, so that is the difference. So you can do mantra chanting for 1.5 hour daily, for 1 month at least. Okay, after the eclipse, and 1 week before the eclipse. Okay, that is recommended. And if you feel that really a lot of karma is being downloaded in your case, in your particular case, like especially in the case of matrix twin flame connection, the karmic downloads will be really intense. Okay, so you have to really be careful. So to all the people who are twin flames, and especially those who are in the spiritual twin flame matrix twin flame connection, both twins need to be very careful. Okay, because dangerous situations can manifest, because we're talking about Scorpio energies, and you're talking about so many planets in Scorpio. That is, sun is eclipsed, moon is eclipsed, Ketu is there, and Mars is entering Scorpio, and even Mercury is there in the eclipse. And when Mercury is involved, there are issues with discernment. You can't discern between right and wrong. This, your brain is actually impacted. The workings of your mind are impacted. Okay, and all this happens at the unconscious mind level, at the chakra level. So do the mantra chanting, and if your karma, see, there is one spiritual guru that I used to listen to, and he used to say that if situations get tough in your life, okay, you have to increase your sadhana. Okay, so if the situations are really tough, you can even do the mantra chanting for like 3 to 4 hours. Okay, depending on your capacity. And if you are a twin flame, mind you, you should have that capacity to do rigorous sadhana. Okay, twin flames are just not namesake. Whether it is sadhana or whether it is work in this physical world, you should have that capacity to do anything. But you should know when you have to do what. When it is time to work in this world, you should know to work in this world. When it is time to do sadhana, you should know how to go in isolation and do your sadhana. So even if you have to do the mantras for like 4 hours, 5 hours, you just do it. Yeah, you show up for who you are. Okay, now which mantra? Okay, now which mantra? See, at every stage, you know, a different mantra is required. Okay, like if you have a guru and if your guru has given you a particular mantra, then you can use that mantra. Okay, but when you cross certain stages in your life, sometimes your guru will change and give you a different mantra. Okay, sometimes your own higher self will lead you to a particular mantra. Okay, like for me, I was chanting one mantra and I'm sure I mastered it for like quite some time. Okay, but now I was given a different mantra by my higher self. I was given a different mantra, and the new mantra was like really perfect for me. Okay, so the previous mantra was for one chakra. Okay, and this mantra is for the next chakra, all right, or a different chakra. So, depending on the stages in your enlightenment process, mantras can be changed. Okay, so you have to decide what is the appropriate mantra for you. But if you ask me which is a really good mantra for this eclipse, I would say Om Namah Shivaya is a really good mantra. Then you can also chant Surya mantra, Surya Gayatri mantra. Okay, or Gayatri mantra for the sun, it is as it is known as. Okay, so I can just share with you these two mantras that I know about. One is Om Namah Shivaya, and the other mantra is the Gayatri mantra, and even the Surya Gayatri mantra. These three mantras you can chant. Alright, so with this, I will take your leave right now. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe to my channel. Alright, and if you have to make some comments, you can comment down in the comment section. Alright, so bye for now. Have a lovely week. Hi friends, so this is like those really on the spot videos where I want to share this with my community. So I just had a really intense experience right now because of the solar eclipse. So what really happened is I wanted to book a cab to go to a particular place, and there was somebody, a cab service that I knew, and I told this person, I knew this person, and I had requested him to provide a cab service, but the person that he provided for me was like really so different from what I wanted and what my reality was. Okay, and then I requested this cab service and I found this person, but that person was really so I was like my whole energy went haywire, after connecting with that person. So like this is to describe to you now how a solar eclipse functions. Okay, what happens during a solar eclipse. So now before the eclipse, now this is eclipse happening on the 4th, but the energies right now are so intense. I can feel the negative energy, man. I can feel the negative energy getting to me. After that, for 3 hours I struggled to find the right cab driver, because although I am not in a different state, I'm not living outstation, I'm living in this very state, but I had never found the right cab driver so far, so I was just making use of the services of my family's cab driver, which they knew and which I didn't want to take this time. So I spent the next 3 hours searching for the right cab driver. And see, Goa is such a place where we don't have Ola cabs or other professional cab service. There is one service which is called Goa Miles, but unfortunately, the bookings were full. There were no bookings for tomorrow. I mean, my booking was not considered for tomorrow. I will still be speaking with the owner and asking him about the service. I spoke with the customer support, but I couldn't get a booking for tomorrow for a cab. So I was looking for cabs and I just came across all these negative people, who just was like, they just told me, we'll call you back, and they didn't call me back. Okay. So now why I'm sharing all of this is the effect of the eclipse, this horrible eclipse in Scorpio. Okay, this is the effect. And even the Omicron variant that has come up is related to this eclipse. Okay, because it is happening in Scorpio. Okay, and let me tell you, some nasty things are going to happen, like the virus is going to spread after the eclipse happens. I'm going to tell you that because I have that kind of a feeling. Right now, the virus has only been found in a few countries. It has not entered India. We have taken tight security measures, India. But I feel after 4th December, 5th December, by 10th December, this virus will be found in India. I feel like that, okay? Because the energies are so intense. And after that, in my level of anxiety was so high. So when my anxiety was high, for no reason, okay, like there was no concrete reason, but the reason was that I could feel the negative energies coming on, okay. So now the main point of the video is what has happened. What I did right now is I chanted a mantra. Okay, I chanted a mantra, and I chanted a mantra for 15 minutes. After chanting the mantra, I could feel changes in my root chakra, like all the karma that was downloaded in my root chakra, it suddenly reduced. I'm not saying, see, it is like a gutter, okay? It keeps flowing into your S basically. So, I mean, I'm sorry, in your root chakra. So, yeah, I guess I'm being really funny with myself, whatever, I don't know, but I'm really pissed off with this system. It's disgusting. Okay, I hate being trapped in this matrix, and by the way, this happens with everyone, not just with me. Okay, so karma gets downloaded in your root chakra, because root chakra is the physical reality. So after I chanted this mantra for like 15 minutes, some of that karma was cleared, and everything became so effortless. The next person that I contacted just happened to be a few kilometers away from where I stay, and the moment I connected with this person, I just felt a different energy, okay? And then I booked the cab and everything went on so smoothly, and this was a really friendly person, okay? This was a friendly person, a person that I respect, okay? Because see, when you become you have to take charge of your reality. This is balancing your divine masculine, okay? Eh, Divine masculine is someone who ensures that every experience is safe for you, every experience is right for you, okay? So if I had gone with the previous, with my family's cab driver, I mean, I'm not compatible with that choice. So if I had gone with that cab driver, my DM would have been imbalanced. Okay. Then if I had gone for I came across other cab drivers that were like, telling me extremely high rates. Okay. So I saved the money also right now compared to what I would have to pay if I had hired those people, and but I refused. For 3 hours I kind of struggled to find the right cab driver, but finally I found. Okay. And how I found by clearing the karmic downloads. Okay. If I had done this mantra chanting before, okay, I wouldn't have had to waste those 3 hours. Okay, because see, when you are at a higher level of kundalini process, you become sensitive to the energy. So I was getting a high level of anxiety because I was dealing with that energy. The moment I chanted the mantra, uh, the karma got cleared, and I found the right cab driver. I also found a cab driver who lives nearby. I also found a cab driver who offers me good rates. I also found a cab driver who is very friendly, respectful, decent, like the kind of person that I would really want to hire. Okay, and I feel I'm going to hire this person in the future also for my needs. Uh, because currently, as I'm speaking this, uh, I'm in the last stages of my process. Okay, so the psychic attacks are very high, so I cannot go by my two wheeler like I used to go everywhere with my two wheeler. I love my two wheeler. Okay, car is a different experience. Two wheeler, I love my two wheeler, but not possible right now. Okay, because the psychic attacks are too high, too high. It's very risky. So I can't afford a bodyguard right now. So I'm just hiring a cab. But this was my experience. I'm sharing this experience to let you know how the solar eclipse energies actually affect. Okay, and all of it depends on many factors. Not everyone will have such intense experiences. Those whose kundalini is awakened and those who are working on healing their unconscious mind will have more karmic downloads. Those who are like, not aware, not awakened, that process of clearing the unconscious not started with them. With those, for those people, they will not have such intense experience probably. But since the Scorpio sign, there's a high likelihood that most of the people are going to have intense experiences, okay? And if you are energetically sensitive, as most of the people of my community are, you will sense it before it happens. Like, it's supposed to happen on the 4th, the December 4th, the eclipse is supposed to happen. But right now, today is the 30th, I'm still feeling the energies. Okay, so this is why I've told you to chant the mantra. Okay, this is why I told you to chant the mantra. This is the real live on the spot proof that I'm giving you, or what word can I use? The on the spot experience that I'm sharing with you of the effectiveness of the mantras. Okay, and again, the effectiveness of the mantras is different for different people. Like, see, my all my chakras are activated. Okay, as I said, in 2019, I already got moksha. Okay, my soul is a free soul. I am a liberated soul. Okay, so but now my divine masculine is in another body, right? So I have to free his soul also. So that soul much process is going on. So I'm stuck here in 3D because of his karma, and his karma, like, he's a matrix twin, so he carries very heavy karma of the divine masculine. Okay, so I'm in that process and I'm facing all the psychic attacks because of that. So for that reason, my third eye is not yet awakened, but my chakras are all spinning. So since my chakras are all spinning, mantras are more effective in my case. Okay, because I have done the practice. No, I have done the practice. Even in this community, those people who do regular dhyan. Okay, those who are regular meditators, who do the mantra chanting, who do the dhyan, they will know, they will have a faster effect with the mantras, because the system is already tuned up, right? The system is already tuned up. It's not like a clogged pipe, it's like a system that's flowing, there's a flow in your system. So that's why for the mantras to work, you need what you say, practice. Okay, system has to be at a certain level of purity. Okay, so this is what I had to share with you. Yeah, hope you like it, and I will add this to my video. Okay, I will add this to the solar eclipse video, which I will upload in some time. Okay, bye for now.